Hey everybody, I'm Creed, and this is Creed Saturday Morning, episode 24. This is going to be another recap episode, and what these are is I'm currently working on Villain 100 in my villains gallery of 100 cartoon villains, and I've only been running this channel for about 11 or 12 months now. So this recap is about all the villains that I did before I started my channel. So I wasn't recording video when I did them, but I do have the pencils and the finished piece, and I'm just doing them 10 at a time. And I think this batch of 10 so far is one of my favorites. And I mostly draw cartoon stuff. That's the main show on my channel. But if I draw other things, it's labeled as a different show. This Villains Gallery is one of my greatest artistic achievements, and I do plan to do at least 100 more villains. And I've actually just recently started a Cartoon Hero series. So that's enough about that. I'm going to roll the intro here, and we'll be back with my next 10 cartoon villains. So Villain 31 is the Mangler from the Flintstones. The Flintstones ran 166 episodes from 1960 to 1966. This guy really stuck with me after I saw this episode. So the Mangler is Elroy Quartstone. So Fred ends up on a jury, and they are seeing the case of Elroy Quartstone. He's charged with simple assault, aggravated assault, assault and battery, simple battery, and operating a vehicle without a plate while committing a robbery. And it even says on the show it took 12 cops to haul him off to jail. The guy's a monster. Basically, Fred's the one who has to give the verdict from the jury, and when he flips out after he gets the guilty verdict, so he's like, "I'll get you, Flintstone. I'll get you if it's the last thing I ever do," and he's dragged off by all the bailiffs and cops around. It's really, he's the most menacing character in the whole show, and I really love the guy. And when I was doing cartoon villains, I'm like, nobody's ever gonna think of the Mangler, but he's one of my favorite guys, so here he is. And he's voiced by Henry Corden, who also did Gemini and Ookla the Mock from Thunder the Barbarian. Number 32 in my gallery is Sawboss from Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. Jace and the Wheeled Warriors ran for 65 episodes in 1985. This is really an international show. It looks like anime, but this show was made by a combination of France and Canada. Yay, Canada. And it was just animated in Japan, so it's not anime. Sawboss is the leader of the evil plant creatures, the Monster Minds, and J. Michael Straczynski wrote about a quarter of the show, and from what I can tell, also did some script doctoring for the storyline. So he sort of shaped the story of the show. And I cannot pronounce the voice actor's name, even with practice. And I also haven't seen anything else he's worked on. But the show is fantastic. There's a really good storyline, although I'll let you know now, we do not get an ending to the story. Still, a fantastic show. Really great, innovative stuff going on in that show. Now, number 33 in my gallery is Darkstorm from Visionaries, one of the greatest 80s cartoons, in my opinion. Visionaries ran for 13 episodes in 1987. Darkstorm is leader of the Darkling Lords, and his totem is a mollusk. His power staff is the power of decay. Now, the character was voiced by Chris Latta, very famous voice actor from the 80s. He did Starscream from Transformers, Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, and Decompose from Inhumanoids, among others. Now, I put a lot of time into that chest logo of the mollusk. There's lots of layers and Photoshop work going on there to make it look holographic. I did my best. And I even used one of those Photoshop layers. When I was looking to make it holographic, I thought of Amolite. And if you look up Amolite, it really fits this application. So, one of the layers in there somewhere is some Amolite, just to give it that holographic look. I really like how this one turned out. Number 34 in my gallery is the awesome Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons, which is currently, as I make this video, in season 28, and hopefully 1,000 more to go. He's voiced by Albert Brooks, and he's the head of the Globex Corporation. He's a supervillain mastermind, but the best boss Homer ever had, and a hell of a nice guy. Even when he's out all warring with the government, I root for him to give them hell. Number 35 in my gallery is Arcane from Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing cartoon only ran 5 episodes in 1990 and 1991. He's the villainous leader of the Unmen, and Arcane mutates more and more throughout the short series. His voice is done by Don Franks, who does voices on Jason the Wheel Warriors, Ewoks, Droids, Garbage Pail Kids, Madballs, My Pet Monster, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, and he was Sabretooth on the 90s X-Men cartoon. So he's pretty obscure. The cartoon is good, but not fantastic. I think that's why it only ran 5 episodes. But the Unmen, all of his henchmen, are really cool, and they are definitely on my list. They'll be added sometime. Number 36, a great 80s villain, Master Blaster from Kid Video. Kid Video ran 26 episodes from 1984 to 1985, and he's basically an interdimensional music producer from hell who pulls a phantom toll booth and pulls kids from the real world into the flip side, which is a cartoon world. And the similar premise was also used on Captain N the Game Master, another great cartoon. Master Blaster's voice was done by Peter Renaday, who also did voice work on Transformers, Tailspin, Pirates of Dark Water, The Real Ghostbusters, and Sectors. And this one actually took me about 10 tries because I have this pet peeve of fan art where if you don't get the likeness, it just looks like you recast the part. So the guy can have the same hair and the same suit and the chair, but if it doesn't look like Master Blaster, then I'll try again. I really don't want that cosplay look that basically it's just somebody else with all the same characteristics. I want that exact character. Like I said, it's like a casting thing. However he's drawn, that's the guy. That's a real pet peeve of mine. I like to get the exact guy from the show. And it took me 10 tries, but I really think I nailed it on this one. I really like how Master Blaster turned out. Now, villain 37 is Duke Igthorn from the Gummy Bears. Gummy Bears ran 65 episodes from 1985 to 1991. His voice is done by Michael Rye, who was Magneto on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and Apache Chief on Super Friends. Igthorn's downfall was always the oafishness of his ogre army. They were just imbeciles. And the Gummy Bears were always smarter and more powerful than him, so he didn't really have much of a chance. Awesome villain 39 in my gallery is Mumm-Ra from Thundercats. Thundercats ran 130 episodes from 1985 to 1989. Mumm-Ra's voice is done by Earl Hammond, who also does the voice of Monstar on Silverhawks. I really, really love how this came out. Even separating these into batches of 10, I think by looking at this batch of 10, I really see that I was getting into the groove with this series. This is right around when I really was making some excellent stuff, and I'm super proud of all of these. And the energized version of Mumm-Ra will be in my next 100 villains. I was actually going to use him as my 100th villain, but I went with something more elaborate. It's going to be Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, and I'm working on him now. Actually, when I do a big compound piece where I draw like 10 different things and combine them into one, I come up with a way better piece, and that's what I'm doing with Villain 100. I come up with a way better piece, but these compound pieces always kill my motivation. So actually, I'm hiding from working on that right now by working on videos instead. So it's your benefit, but yeah, I'm just kind of lost my motivation on that. I'm still working on it though. Now, Villain 39. This is an interesting one. My favorite wrestler of all time. I'm not a wrestling fan. I'm an old school WWF Hogan versus Piper wrestling fan. And this is Rowdy Piper from Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. It ran for 26 episodes from 1985 to 1986. They didn't get the wrestlers to do their voices on the show. And so Rowdy Piper's voiced by Charlie Adler, who also does voice of Tex Hex on Bravestar, Buster Bunny on Tiny Toons, Jammit on Capital Critters, Felix the Cat in Season 2 of Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, Dr. Maston from Project Geeker, Professor Monkey for a Head from Earthworm Jim, and Cal, Chicken, and the Red Guy from Cow and Chicken. Now with this one I was kind of torn because the cartoon likenesses are not all that well done in the show. So they have sort of their own look. He has all the basic characteristics of Roddy Piper, but not exactly the likeness. And I could have drawn him to look more like Piper, but then he wouldn't look like the cartoon. So I really decided to stick with the cartoon. That's why he doesn't look 100% like Piper. He's sort of just a, like I said, that kind of that cosplay look where it's just somebody else with all the same hair and costume. But I didn't want to vary from the cartoon, so this looks like the show, which does not look like the actual wrestler that much. It's weird, but it's a really great show. When I was a fan at the time, that was a fantastic cartoon. I really enjoyed it. And to finish this episode off, number 40 is Hordak from She-Ra, the Princess of Power. There was 93 episodes from 1985 to 1987, and the voice work was done by George DeCenzo, who was John Blackstar on Blackstar, and Captain Lou on Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. So that should actually wrap it up for now. I am trying to put out more videos more frequently. So even the last few days I've put out a few, which is great. And I actually have a lot of stuff coming. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to time this recap series so that by the time I recap the last 10 will be around the time I'm going to post my 100th villain. And what I want to do is I want to post the 100th villain on DeviantArt and on YouTube at the same time, which I usually don't do. So everything's working towards my 100th villain. So I still am working on number 100, but this gets us up to number 40 on the recap. And I hope you enjoyed these. All of my art is over on DeviantArt. I always put the link below. I'm also going to link to all the intros for all these shows, and there are links to buy these cartoons below also, and that helps out the channel a lot. So I've got a lot more great art on the way, so stay tuned for that. And until then, take her easy. Hey, thanks for watching all the way through. I really appreciate it. Just by watching these videos, you help me out. But if you really want to help the channel, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on how you feel. Make sure you're subscribed so you can keep up with my latest stuff. And if you're looking to buy a cartoon I'm talking about, I will put up the link to Amazon in the description. And if you're a big fan, the absolute best thing you can do is recommend this channel to a friend who loves cartoons. Thanks for watching.